Welcome to yet another episode of Film Review, where today we are breaking Shedeur Sanders down against, of course, the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, and unlike Dylan Gabriel's fiance, the tape doesn't talk. It just quietly shows Shador being better. It's film review, and it's probably obvious at this point that we both prefer Shador Sanders over one Dylan Gabriel. But I do want to get into the film because there's a lot to talk about from that Niners game. I think from a special teams game plan scheme kind of lens, we were let down big time. From a quarterback lens, though, I don't think Shador Sanders was as bad as a lot of people thought. He wasn't great, and he hasn't been great, but he's not bad either.
No, I agree with you 100%. I put down a couple notes about the entire offense that I was observing as I went through this, just because I feel like it's important to hit on it as well. Jenkins and Teller, they were doing that switch at right guard. They both looked awesome in this game to me overall. There needs to really be more of an effort for top receivers to build chemistry with Shador at this point. The amount of times
Yeah.
that I feel like Njoku and Jeudy are either getting overlooked because he doesn't trust the chemistry there, or he doesn't even know what they're doing because there just hasn't been chemistry built between him and those two. It's palpable, and that needs to be built if he's going to continue to be the starter and want to see success in this offense. And then the last thing I have, Judkins, man, he's special. The fight he has for more yards, every single one of those rushing plays, you could just see he wants 2 more yards, 2 more yards, 2 more yards. Where's the hole? Where can I dive? Oh, there's no block. I'm gonna try to spin. He is absolutely special.
Yeah, he is. And you made a good point because a lot of those balls that he was throwing to Hunter at Colorado were 50-50 balls.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting because we don't see that chemistry, or it was the rollout, the plays busted, but he has him streaking or whatever because they had that chemistry. So if we could get a guy on the same page with him, I think that would go a long way for sure. Let's get into it. Before we start, though, one quick note. We see all the comments you guys leave on our YouTube videos. First of all, we're not over analyzing, we're breaking down film. So, like, if you just want us to say, oh, he passed it there, we can do that, but it's not gonna be very interesting. So cut us some slack this time maybe, or don't. I don't
Yeah.
care. I
Yeah.
love the interaction.
No, I love the interaction too. I love hearing other people's perspective on what we're breaking down. At the end of the day, we don't know. They don't know. The only people that know are the people that know what play was actually called, what the first, second, third read is, and what the options were at the line for Shador to set protections and whatnot. We don't get that. We just get to see the all 22 and have to try to break it down as generic and basic as we can with the football knowledge that we both, yes, we both do have.
My favorite though is y'all don't know ball. Have you ever even done this before? We have a college football player, former, on the show. His name's Noah. Say hi, Noah.
It's right there. It's right there. You can see the helmet, but
All right,
it's all fine.
let's
It's all
jump in.
dandy. Let's get into the first clip, and I want to make one note real quick. I actually have what drive they were on, what down they were on, what quarter it's in, because
Oh,
I think context is
it does
very
matter.
important into what was going on with this game, especially because a bulk of Shador's passing yards in this game were in that garbage time drive. I only have one snap from that garbage time drive. I wanted to focus on when the game was still within reach and it really mattered. We weren't just going to throw against, deep coverages, stuff that's letting us open up down the middle. So the first clip that you're going to see is the clip that you probably expected to see if you know what's going on. It is third down. It is the first drive. It is the first quarter. It is the ball that gets sailed over Jerry Judy's head. And I start with the tight on the blocking just because I want to show how much time Shador really had in the pocket here to read this. And I'm going to take it from the top one more time because it's like 3, 4, 5 seconds. Uh, Ample time. Ball goes over Jerry Judy's head. Now, I want to ask your opinion, Erik. Do you think this is more on Shador not layering it properly? Do you think it's more on Judy's effort? Where are you at with this play?
I don't think I'm on either, to be completely honest with you. I think what you have here is a mix, and I don't want to make excuses. First of all, it's a miss. But I think there's two possibilities. One, again, that chemistry's not quite there yet. This is a timing route. That time does matter. Yeah, he's open. You got to hit him for sure. But keep in mind too that the wind was at their back at this moment, and it was windy as hell for that game.
Yes, it
They said
was.
it on the commentary, you were there, but they said it on the commentary that that ball probably just got away from him a little bit. We saw it later in the game when he didn't have a super tight spiral that it just completely we call it the wounded duck, like, imagine a duck that's shot but still alive and trying to fly. That's what my family calls it anyway. You saw
Right.
some of that from him, but my point is it could have been a win factor.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I put this mainly on Jerry Jeudy, and that's it's not me trying to show favoritism to Shedeur when I say that, but I put it mainly on Jerry Jeudy because of what we've seen out of him. He is supposed to be our wide receiver one. He is supposed to be the guy to go out there and help not just Shedeur, but Dylan when he was in there too. Make plays, be correct. That's what your top offensive weapons should be doing to help rookie
Okay,
quarterbacks
but
move along.
I don't see him, like, jogging or anything. I see him running a route. I
It it
I
looks
don't
like
know.
he's running slow to me, man. It just does. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like he's jogging it a little bit, whereas I don't know. I just want to see a little more fight from him. Maybe even a jump. He just looks at it go over his head. It wasn't that far away from him. The wind could be a good factor. Shador could have placed the ball better, maybe knowing the wind. I mean, he played in Colorado. There's so many things you could put into this. It's just one of those frustrating ones that you saw boil over on the sideline that I wanted to get both of our opinions out there on this specific play.
I take it back. I think we are overanalyzing.
Oh,
Feel free to
here we
leave
go.
drop those comments down below. I think this is one that, um, it's just a miss, and I'm not blaming Judy here. I think that's over the top as an excuse, honestly.
That's fair enough. I kind of disagree with you and his body maybe this is it. His body language throughout this game was absolutely horrible. Again, the
What
amount
do you
of
mean he was
complaining.
passionate on the sideline?
But no, throughout the game, like Eric, I watched every single play in this film. The amount of times you got the and the pouting and the same BS that we've seen out of him from week in and week out that has made fans frustrated with him. It that maybe that's what's rubbing off here a little bit. Why didn't you jump for the ball if you want it so bad? Why didn't you try to speed up a little bit more if you wanted it so bad? Maybe that's where I'm coming from, but I don't know. This play, it sucks because if Jerry catches that, he can do Jerry Judy things. Hopefully, that doesn't include a fumble like last week or 2 weeks ago now, and maybe make a play and get a touchdown on the first drive for the Browns.
Okay, fair enough, I guess.
This next play that we're going to go into is another example of the lack of chemistry between Jerry Jeudy and Shedeur Sanders. So you're going to see Jerry Jeudy open up over here. It's going to be around the 30-yard line. I'm going to pause it for a second. He's going to basically go and just sit here. And Shedeur should have thrown that a while ago, kind of led him forward a little bit to that 30-yard line and really got that ball in there. Instead, he tries to take a little dump off. I don't get what he's not seeing here, but typical chemistry like that. Maybe he's afraid of the zone because of the pick he threw. Obviously, this is a lot less tight compared to the pick he threw last week, but this is NFL open all day to me.
Oh,
And,
yeah,
you know,
it's wide open.
when you have a number one receiver and a quarterback that are on the same page, Luke McCown talked about this on X. He was talking about Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes, of course. That's the kind of thing you just expect to see in rhythm, and we're just not seeing it out of both of them yet. Hopefully, with the fieriness that we've seen on the sideline between the two of them, obviously Judy's frustration and want to be better this season, whether it be viewed as a negative or a positive with his body language, like I was just talking about. Hopefully, one of those things gives, and they can continue to build some chemistry and look better, for Shador's sake and Judy's sake at this point.
See, this is where I struggle because if you're a good wide receiver or player in general, and the guy's not making plays, you're wide open, you're running that route, that is beyond frustrating. And that's something that can fester. We saw it with OBJ and his dad, more so his dad, I think.
Right.
But that's something that can fester. And we have to be careful here, especially if we plan to move forward with both of these guys, because I get it, man. If you're you're out there running routes and nothing's coming your way, not nothing, but you get what I'm saying. Like there's a clear miss there and you're wide open, and the result of the play is negative. I get that frustration. I get it seeping over to the sideline. So these are plays that Shador just has to make. That's an NFL throw right there. He's in the NFL. I know he's a rookie. We cut him a lot of slack on this channel as we should, but he's gotta make the easy ones too.
He does have to make the easy ones indeed. It's also you could catch 22 that and say in response to what you just said, as a wide receiver who's been in the league for a while, you also have to understand what dealing with rookie quarterbacks is going to be like, and you have two of them on the roster. So you expected at least one of them, and really if you're being realistic and you know the Cleveland Browns as an organization, both of them, newsflash, had to play this season and are playing this season or have played this season. So some of those shortcomings are going to come. Hopefully, this all turns into good and positive energy moving forward. But I get what you're saying too.
And I'll say this though, I think Judy's the last guy that should be casting stones right now. I mean, he was I didn't even know he was on the team for the first couple weeks. Obviously I jest, but he was nowhere to be found. So
Let's move on to the third clip. By the way, clip two was the second drive. It was second down, still in the first quarter. Third clip is the fourth drive. So we got past through the third drive. There was a lot of running plays in that one. Nothing really there for me to break down, in my opinion, in terms of Shedeur. Obviously, when we do our film here, we do it in a condensed sense. We don't go through every single play that Shedeur does. We pull out the highlights, lowlights, and talk about it. Third clip. This is the play that everybody was excited about. Of course, this is the Harold Fannin touchdown. This is to your credit and what you just said, Erik. This is the you got to see it in the busted zone and make that NFL throw and do it. And Shador sees it in time. I also like his pocket presence on this play.
yeah, the
If you see
stepping
the
up
climb,
is what I
the
love. Yeah.
the climb there is the biggest part of that. In terms of the read itself, there's nothing crazy to read because the two defenders, you could see it. I'm going to pull it back for a second. You could see it over here at the 20. They kind of run into each other. That's what gets Harold Fannin open. But that's textbook. If you're an NFL quarterback, you need to see that every time. He sees it. He gets his rookie that he has chemistry with in Harold Fannin into this position to get himself a touchdown. There's not a ton to break down there, but I wanted to be a little positive, even though it is a loss film breakdown.
Yeah, not a ton to break down, but these are the plays that I felt like Dylan Gabriel missed. We didn't see this from him. He wasn't hitting that guy. He wasn't seeing that guy. He was already checking it down. So I love to see this from Dylan. This is showing the growth that we've talked about because, yeah, he's going to have his down moments. But the fact that he's not drifting in the pocket here, he's climbing the pocket, like you mentioned, keeping his eyes downfield and finding the open receiver. What more can we actually ask for of him?
This is the type of thing you want to see. And I agree with your assessment 100% that this is something with Dylan Gabriel we just weren't seeing. He was always taking the check down, always taking the easiest option. The next play, however, is to me the most interesting. This had the most writing for me in terms of my film breakdown. So this is clip number 4. This is the sixth drive. This is the third quarter. This is right after the kickoff return step out that was at like the 5 yard line. So another special teams blunder. And this is an example of a lot of things to me. This is an example of the Shador pocket drift problem. This is the example of not having uh, real connections with his top receivers. I let it run one time. I'm going to stop it here. You could see Njoku's wide open here.
How this
But
wasn't a safety, I still don't know.
no, I'm with you 100% on that one as well. But you could even see Jeudy over here past the first down marker, open, NFL open, just above the 10. But instead, he looks to his backside, which is also starting to get open. He just doesn't have enough time because he took too much time. And now his right tackle, I believe it's still Conklin during this play, is beat because he was back there for a while. Fannin is open on the backside. Don't get me wrong. I see what he's seeing, and he's going to the guy he has the most trust with on the field. But sometimes you just got to let it rip. So, this is an example of the lack of trust to me. This is an example of one of his bad habits. It isn't a great play, and we're lucky it wasn't a safety, like you said, Erik.
Yeah, I'm shocked it wasn't, honestly. I don't know if we're necessarily lucky because, it didn't matter at the end of the day, but, yeah, this is classic Shador, and he's gotta know too, if you're in that position and you're throwing out of your end zone, you gotta be able to throw the ball away. Um, the what I see when he starts to scramble in some of these and he starts to drift is the panic. Oops, can't go this way. Oh, can't go that way. And then it's breaking down all around him, and there's not much that he can do. That's not good,
No,
obviously.
no.
This is one
It's
of his
what's
worst tendencies.
It is indeed. It's going to continue to hurt him and the team until he can, breaks out of this. Another thing too, when you're backed up in the end zone like that, you have to know the situation to want to get that ball out quick. So even if you want the big first down play, you're at least giving your team a fighting chance
You need
by
breathing
hitting
room.
hitting Njoku right there. It's like I said, it's third down, I believe here. So it was probably going to be a punt anyway. But hitting Njoku there, and at least he has a chance to fight for that first down instead of getting absolutely nothing like he does on this play.
And
So
correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like he coulda climbed the pocket there. Um, it started to form around him. Let's see it again. Yeah, if you start stepping up,
it's there. It's there.
the
It's not
interior
pretty,
of
but
that
it's
line was holding up decently.
yeah, it's not pretty, but it's not going to be pretty when you're on the 3-yard line. It's
Yeah.
always going to be more pressure, higher pressure situations. So that's another thing we've talked about it here on the page before that Shedeur needs to clean up and get better at. But hopefully, with more starts, more connections with these receivers, more time with the ones, he can pick that up and continue to hopefully prove himself in the league for the Browns. Clip number 5. It is the 7th drive. It is third down. This is, from what I remember, a decently positive play from Shedeur. There's some good, some bad here. I like his pocket presence here, stepping up. And then I see what he's seeing here. I know this play goes incomplete. Isaiah Bond does not catch that football. But in a perfect world, in a scramble drill with an offensive line that can block better, and that is Corn Lucas on the background on the backside now, I believe, or KT Levinston, one of the two interchangeable, disposable offensive linemen we have playing tackle, backup tackle, that is. In a perfect world, let me get to where I want to make my point real quick, and then I'll let you go. If he had time to sit there for 1 second, he could hit that ball. If there was a little bit of something there, he could hit that ball. But there's just not because the pressure's coming to him right now. And the pressure was coming to him right then, too, because of the lack of the ability to pick up a twist that you see there on the backside. I like his
And
mechanics, though, in climbing.
yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
still don't mind this play. He's throwing into single coverage there. And it's the 50-50 ball that we talked about. He's trying to build that. I don't mind this. It's like you said, scramble drill. Now, other people would probably say this is where you need to throw the ball away. But he gave his receiver a shot to go up and make a play. It didn't happen. That's fine.
And it wasn't like the ball placement is really bad either. I mean, he was able to position himself well to play defense as well as offense to not make that a turnover of some sort. You know what I mean? It wasn't sloppy. The spiral wasn't fantastic. I won't lie there. It was a little bit of a duck. But when
A
you're
little bit
running
tough.
and you're trying to get away from the defenders, I get it. You're just trying to get it somewhere to make a play. That is to me one of the positives of Shador's game is the want to go out there and make a play, whereas we haven't seen that in quite some time here in Cleveland.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I agree with you.
So we are going on to the sixth clip. I only pulled 7 today. I want to make it very abundantly clear from what I saw in this game. Shador played well for a rookie. Shador did some things bad, but things that you expect a rookie of any caliber, whether it be first round, sixth round, seventh round, undrafted, to make mistakes in the NFL. Not seeing a guy open on the second level, but still making a pass on the first level. Stuff like that is stuff that I've seen in this game. So this next play, this is the play directly after. This is fourth down on the 7th drive. I want to know what you think about it here. Shador's going to end up taking a sack, but it's a long developing play. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi takes the sack. So he takes too much time in the pocket if you go by the typical 3-second rule. But I'm going to let it play right here, and you could see how deep these routes are going, how much of a long developing play this is. Now,
Yeah,
and Joku's go
this
ahead.
is where context is important. We're getting our butts kicked and we have to get vertical. We don't have a shot, period, but we need to get vertical if we think we even come close to a shot here. And that's what you're seeing. So, yeah, it's
Right.
a long developing play call, but I think this is more about context. Yes, he's holding onto the ball. Yes, he should get rid of it. That clock in his head should hit zero and he should make a decision. But again, I don't really lay this at his feet so much. It's more of the area we were at this point of the game.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. That was my take. You can't take that sack. You need to get yourself in a position to get rid of that football. But it's a long developing play. You're trying to make something work. Again, it's fourth down. Context matters, and that's really what happened here. I remember a lot of people being in the stands being upset about him taking that sack, but when you look at it, full field, there's nothing really there other than Njoku underneath. You're down 2.5 scores. That's not going to get you anything but the ball back to the 49ers' hands.
What was the distance, though? I know you said 4th down. 4th and
Let it
what?
go wide. I don't have that written down, but you can see when it goes wide, it's about 20-ish
Oh,
yards, give or take
4th and a
5.
mile.
Right.
So, we're backed up is the problem. Yeah, I mean, what do you expect there? I was gonna complain about the routes, and the scheme there, because obviously somebody's not gonna be open. We're just running verticals basically. Nice curl route would have been nice, but yeah, we didn't really have a choice here.
No, there is no choice. I was just curious what your thoughts were on it because, again, I'm viewing this from a different lens than you did. You got to sit down and watch the TV broadcast. Some of my reactions is sitting in a stadium, sitting next to a bunch of season ticket holders who may or may not have had one too many Christmas ales and are really upset because the Browns lost yet again. So just wanted to put some perspective and get a takeout here. Here's the final play that I pulled from Shedeur's film. And this is more of a nitpick, in my opinion. This is something I want Shedeur to fix quickly. It's just the lack of ability to outrun NFL defenders. He tries to get out of the pocket. He takes a sack. This is on the garbage time drive at this point. This is the final drive that he gets the ball. The next play is the one where he rushes up and gets hit and sits down basically at the line of scrimmage.
I don't
Um,
think this is lack of ability. I think this is, indicative of him not having that feel yet. Um, he should have it. He should develop, quarterbacks are supposed to have that sixth sense that that guy's on your ass. Um, he's doing the right things in that he's keeping his eyes downfield as he's scrambling. That's not his top speed, though, obviously. I don't think it's that he can't outrun the man. I think it's that he's trying to keep his eyes downfield and have something develop. I like that aspect of it, but I get what you're saying. We've seen this a couple times now. It's frustrating that he's hunted from behind. You've got to have a similar clock when you're scrambling. Lamar Jackson's really good at this and know that okay, it's still not developing. I need to take off now.
no, I'm with you, and that's what I'm saying is he needs to fix that and needs to get his internal clock of whatever's going on, you use clock as an example, it is no longer set to Big 12. It is set to NFL, and he needs to set that to NFL like last game to continue to develop and grow as the player that, you and I ultimately think he can be, as well as, plenty of people obviously thought he could be pre NFL draft with his stock being where it was despite the slide and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
Erik, you got anything else that you're thinking about the film? Those are the 7 plays that I had. I focused more on some of the negatives of Shadeur's game. Obviously, we don't get to be happy when it's a loss, is kind of how I view it. That's how I grew up in football. You don't get to watch all the good plays if you lost the football game. So these are some things I think he can improve on. I think he looked like a rookie out there, a rookie in a cold weather game against a good defense. Not giving him excuses because I think he made some good plays, but there's definitely plenty to work on, and I want to see him continue to work on it more. And I want to see the playbook open up a little bit more for him too.
Yeah, he looks like a rookie, but I wanna get a temperature check right now. He has,
Mhm.
a couple starts under his belt now. He's gonna continue to start. We see some positives, we see a lot of negatives. I think what we see more than anything is that he's not a franchise quarterback, and he's unlikely to become a franchise quarterback. Is that harsh? No, I don't think it is, honestly. I think
Yeah, I
we've
do.
seen
I do
enough.
think it
He
is. I do think it is both ways because
You
it's
think it's
such
what?
a harsh. You don't think you genuinely think it's not harsh to say
No,
that
I
after
don't
2.5
because
games.
we've seen no, I'm not saying, like, give up on the kid. It's a small sample size, but what I'm seeing is and again, he's my preferred starter here, but what I'm saying is we've seen rookies come in, and we've seen what rookies are capable of, and we've seen the rookies that we go, "He's he's it. He's the guy," right? We've
Yeah.
seen that before. We're not seeing that right now, and maybe that is a bigger issue around the Browns as a whole and the personnel they currently have. That's very possible. But I'm not seeing what he's not wowing me, that's for sure.
No, that's totally fair, but I think that's also totally normal with a rookie quarterback. You can't expect every rookie to come out and be Jaden Daniels or CJ
I don't
Stroud. And look at
expect that.
but that's
I'm
what you just
saying,
said. They're not wowing you. There's moments for a lot of rookies that end up panning out super well. Peyton Manning's a big example of this with the amount of turnovers he threw in his rookie year and the career he ended up having.
are
You
you
can't
comparing
just
his rookie year to Shedeur?
no, not in
You think
general, but
Shedeur looks like a small sliver of Peyton Manning?
I never
That's my
said that,
point.
Eric. You're
No,
twisting my words, Eric.
that's my point, though, is that you knew that Peyton Manning was something special. You knew that when Tom Brady, I mean, that was different circumstances because he was literally leading them to the Super Bowl. But you know when these guys come in and you see it immediately. Um, Name me a quarterback that has looked terrible as a rookie and then has developed into a franchise quarterback.
Sam
I can't
Darnold this
I
year.
can't think of
Sam
he's a
Darnold this
franchise
year, unless
quarterback that's gonna
he
lead them to a Super Bowl?
potentially they're
No.
up there in terms of the odds. If you don't think so, Eric, you're not paying attention to our boy Jackson Smith and Jigba over there in Seattle because he's balling out. He might break a record this year.
My point is, like, this is the position you just can't get wrong, and what I'm getting at is I think we need to draft another quarterback next year.
I think they're going to do that probably anyway. And I'm not hanging my hat on the fact that Shador should be our franchise quarterback and that's the route we should go. I think we've seen 2.5 starts, and I want to see more before I make my evaluation and put my foot down like you kind of
I'm
are
not
right
putting my
now.
foot down, and I said I wanna see more. I'm calling it as I see it right now. That could change in 5 games, but right now, he's not a franchise quarterback.
Okay. I just don't think that's a fair assessment or judgment to make at this point in time.
That's the league, buddy. Like, that's you gotta come in and perform. That's what I'm getting at. And he has more leeway this year because it's the Browns and there's so little expectations, by default because of when he entered actual game playing time for the Browns. But that's the league. Like, he doesn't have 5 years to figure it out. That's what I'm getting at.
I'm not
So,
even
I'm
saying
not
5
jumping on
years.
the I did not say anything like we should bench him, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying from what I've seen so far, I don't think he's it. We haven't seen even flashes yet where you go, "Wow, that he could be the guy." And that's what I would expect, I think, the most. We've seen some decent passes here and there, but we haven't seen flashes where he really wows us. And I would again, 2 games, but at a certain point, I would expect to see some of the wow, and we haven't yet.
I would argue the throw against the Raiders, and yes, I know it's the Raiders, to Isaiah Bond with Max Crosby in his face is one of those wild plays. And I think
That was a hell of a play.
defensive player of the year, Miles Garrett is going to agree with me on that one. Anything else with the film that you see that you want to talk about?
Nope.
All right, buddy. Well, this has been a pleasure.
As always, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.